So scenario 3 on the actual final document looks like this. The confectioner's dilemma. For this scenario, you're working in a store that makes candy, and your gummy candy is the most popular in NYC. You sell out of it each of your batch every day. So this is basically saying that we have a set amount of candy that we make every day, knowing that we sell all of it. So having those hard parameters of numbers is just convenient for us. Every morning you mix the recipe, boil it, pour your candy mix into candy molds, and gelatin is our key ingredient. So I put a little video here that is not going to help you answer the calculations, but it is a little background on how gummy candies are made, a little interesting 2-minute video if you're curious. So to make candy, we take 5 packets of gelatin. We mix 2 cups of citric acid, 4 cups of corn syrup, and 2 cups of water. So if we made that into a chemical reaction, it would look like this: 5 gel packets, 2 cups of acid, 2 cups of corn syrup, 4 cups of corn syrup, 2 cups of water, and that gives us 2,000 grams of gummies, okay? So I made this look roughly like a chemical reaction. Is this ringing any bells of an assignment that you have previously seen before? You have seen it before. You've seen almost this exact setup in this assignment. So for the limiting reactants bakery, that is the assignment that is most tightly linked to this. So I have a 10-minute video here where I do a bunch of the calculations, and we have these slides. So in this assignment, you were in a bakery, and the question was, how many cookies can you make with each ingredient? So if you have 48 cups of butter, how many cookies can you make? And we use the ratios from our chemical equation, our recipe, essentially. So for this question, this assignment, we were going from our reactants, calculating our products. What's a little different about the scenario here is that the manager is going to be leaving for 2 weeks, and you need to make 24,000 grams of gummies while they're gone. So in this case, you know your target amount that you have to make. So you're calculating how much reactant you need. So it's the same mathematical process, but going in the opposite direction. Instead of starting with reactants and calculating products, we're starting with a product and calculating the reactant. Okay? So we have water, we have all the water we need. That's not going to be a limiting factor because we can get it from a sink. But these are going to be limiting reactants. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the calculation for gelatin. So that means that you are still going to have to do the calculations for these two, but you will have this as a reference. So let's remind ourselves, 5 packets of gelatin make 2,000 gummies. So that's the ratio that we are going to be dealing with when we do our calculation for gelatin. Let me pick a nice pen here. There we go. Okay. So the ratio that we're going to be using is 5 gel to 2,000 gummies. Okay. So in our calculations for the cookies, we were given how many reactants we had, and we calculated how many cookies we could make. So in this case, we're going to go the opposite direction. We know that we need, from the question, 24,000 gummies, 24,000 grams of gummies over 2 weeks. So we're going to multiply that by our ratio. This is the same setup that we use for limiting reactant. And we want to make sure that gummies cancel out. So if we want to make the unit gummy go away, how would we arrange our fraction here, our proportion? Would we put gummies on the top, or would we put gummies on the bottom?
on the bottom to cancel it out.
There you go, on the bottom to cancel it out. So 2,000 gummies for every 5 packets of gelatin. So then we just got to put that in our calculator. Reminder, this is over 1. So gummies cancels gummies. We're left with the unit gelatin. So let me just do a quick calculation. 24,000 times 5 divided by 2,000 gives us 60 gels. And I really should be consistent with my units here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that, make sure that's capital. There we go. Okay. So what this is saying is that we need 60 packets of gelatin total to make 24,000 gummies. Okay. So from the question, how many gels do we have? How many gelatin packets do we have?
32.
Yes, we have 32. So then how many do we need? So if we need 60, from the question, we know that we have 32. How many do we need? 60 minus 32 equals 28 gelatin packets. So the manager needs to order this many. On top of the 32 that you already have, the manager needs to order an additional, at least an additional 28 to get you through the next 2 weeks. So if I were doing this for my final, okay, I would, if I was doing, let's say, a write-up, okay, I would have my blank document that I had opened. I would call it scenario number 3, maybe put my name on it. Okay. So what I would do is I would take this over here, I would take a screenshot of it. This is my calculation for gelatin. So I would take a screenshot of that. I would then take that screenshot, or if I was doing it on paper, I would just take a picture and I would put it into this document. Calculations for gelatin packets. And I would insert picture of calculations. If you show me one good set of calculations, I'm not going to request that you show me all of the other ones. So if you show me that you can set it up, do your calculations, and you show me a step-by-step analysis that you know how to do it for gelatin packets or for the corn syrup, then you can say, okay, this is my template and I plugged in the same way. Show me your givens, your unknowns, and what you found. So give me at least one complete step-by-step calculation like I did like I just demoed, put that in, and then do the rest of the calculations. You don't have to put in all of them though. If you want to make sure that you put them all in there, so if you made any mistakes, I can look and see and go, okay, I see where they went wrong. Their setup was correct. I can give them partial credit for this. So showing more work is always possible to get you more points. But in this case, if you're really confident in your calculations and you think you're correct, I'm not going to force you to show me multiple calculations. Angelica, are you allowed to use the calculations I showed you? Like what I just showed you in the video? No, you have to produce your own work. You definitely have to produce your own work. So don't you can't take a screenshot of my video. I want you to show me that you went through the setup and you set it up. If you use me as a template, great, but I need to show your own work.
So if we're doing slides, like will we just have to basically put that screenshot in our slides or write it out?
You can, so like on both Google Docs and both Google Docs and slides, you can insert calculations. So if you want, you can write an equation out and you can write out 24,000 GU times, and you have a bunch of functions that you can put in. So if you want to put in a fraction, you can put in a fraction and say it was 5 gels. Let me click on it to edit it per 2000 GU equals, and then type out the value, which was 60 gel. Okay, so you can show the setups like this by typing the equations out in Google Docs or in slides. Most people prefer to do it by hand. If you're on an iPad, this inserting equations can get really hairy. So I suggest that we do it this way, do it by hand and then insert a picture. It's just easier to get all of your thoughts on paper and show all of the steps. And this can get a little bit annoying to edit, but it's up to you. Whatever works best for you is what you should do. Okay. And of course, all the time, show your units.